Hello everyone. This is the story of what if Naruto and Hinata were bound by a dangerous desire. Going out with a bang, two boys and a girl were seen flying through the trees. Jumping from limb to limb, they approached their target. The one in the front had onyx eyes with hair to match. He wore a black shirt with white pants and had bandaged legs. Behind him followed by a pink-haired girl. She had emerald eyes, an unusually large forehead, and wore a red dress. Holding up the rear was a boy with spiky blonde hair. His eyes were of an enchanting sapphire and he wore a bright orange jacket with matching pants. But his clothing wasn't a feature that stood out. No, it was the whisker-like marks on his face. And his blue eyes, his piercing blue eyes. "Naruto, can you see anyone behind us?" the leader asked. "Nope, no one's behind us, Sasuke." "All right, I think we can stop for now," Sasuke said as he stopped at a tree branch. They all stopped next to him and the girl took out a walkie-talkie. "We have left the building. You guys ready to leave?" She spoke into it. She heard a voice on the other end. "We hear you, Sakura. We got our part of the job done. Neji's team and Kiba's team are also ready to leave." Sakura smiled at the voice on the other end. It was her friend and ex-rival for Sasuke, Ino. "Then let's go." Sakura looked at the target they were about to hit. It was a sound complex. Naruto, on the other hand, had thought back to the mission briefing. Flashback. The four teams were sitting in Tsunade's office. It was about 8 a.m. in the morning. Naruto was in a corner nodding off. Thoughts were running through his head. "Man, this better be worth it. If this is another lazy D-rank mission, I am out of here." He looked up and saw the people there. He saw the rest of the Rookie 9 and Neji, Tenten, and Rock Lee. Neji had black hair with a white jacket with black shorts. Naruto took a look into his eyes. They were pale and had no iris. He was a possessor of the Byakugan, an advanced bloodline ability that allowed the user to see the tenketsu points of your opponent. If you hit your opponent with their style of taijutsu, Juken, you could kill your enemy easily. He stopped thinking about and turned to the girl. Tenten had her hair in her usual Chinese buns and wore a pink Chinese shirt with brown pants. Rock Lee, however, wore a one-piece spandex suit with long orange-yellow socks that hid extremely heavy weights. His hands were heavily bandaged. But his face, his face was a sight to behold. He looked normal, but his eyebrows were thick and his hair was fashioned into a bowl cut. Fuzzy eyebrows, he thought again. He took his eyes off of Lee when he started to hit on Haruno Sakura, who kindly refused. He scanned his eyes over to her. She had begun to mature. She was in the transition stage from girl to woman. "Man, she is a beauty." He managed to pry his eyes off of her and turned to Uchiha Sasuke. He smirked. Naruto and Sasuke had begun to grow taller in the past 2 years. Sasuke was still taller than him, but he was slowly catching up. It probably wouldn't be long until Naruto overtakes him in height. Their facial features had also begun to change. It was slowly becoming that of a man. His friend and eternal rival had everything he wanted. Attention, strength, girls fawning over him, whatever you could think of, he had. Plus, he's got the Sharingan. In a way, Naruto was jealous of him. "But no one could love me, because I'm everyone's favorite loser, dead last." Even though they had a bumpy start, they had become good friends over time. After Naruto had brought him back after he left to join Orochimaru, Sasuke began to open up. He had long lost his expressionless face and his eyes looked more alive. He actually had a social life. It had been 2 years since the incident with Orochimaru killing the third Hokage. Everyone was now around 15 or 16. They had grown together over time and become close friends and comrades in arms. However, Orochimaru attacked Konoha every so often, causing the village to lose valuable shinobi in each attack. Even after the 2 years, he still attacked. So often, the 12 found themselves doing B and C rank missions. Thinking back to that time was painful for Naruto. So he cut it out of his mind. Naruto's sapphire blue eyes locked onto a blonde girl arguing with Sakura over Sasuke. He knew that she was using Sasuke to get Shikamaru jealous, and Sakura knew that too, since they always shared their secrets. She was very developed. Her name was Yamanaka Ino. She had a ponytail with a tuft of her hair hanging over the side of her face while the rest was combed back. She wore a purple shirt and shorts and had bandaged legs. It's not that she was injured, but she liked to wear them. He looked over to her 2 teammates, Akamichi Choji and Nara Shikamaru. Choji was seen, eating. He always ate. It was his hobby, and he had the size to prove it. Shikamaru, on the other hand, had no hobby at all. He simply stared into space, looking at the clouds through the windows. He was the laziest of the lazy. But he had the highest IQ of the 12, so he could afford to be lazy. He was already a chunin, but he was with his old team. Finally, he turned to the last team. Kiba and his white dog, Akamaru, were sitting in the far corner. The second loudest person in Konoha, the first being me. Kiba wore a gray hoodie sweater and had black pants. Akamaru was hanging out inside the sweater, with his head poking through the opening in the hood, right under Kiba's chin. Next to Kiba was Shino. He had black sunglasses, which no one could see through, and wore a gray jacket that managed to cover up the lower part of his face. Shino never really said anything unless he had to. He just stayed there, listening to his little destruction bugs. A girl, almost outside of Naruto's sight, was standing and contemplating her thoughts. Oh man, what should I do? What should I do? She nervously began to play with her index fingers while blushing. It was a habit of hers. Whenever she was near him, she would blush and play with her index fingers. Do I sit by him? Do I try to talk to him? What should I do? A voice snapped her out of her thought. Oi, Hinata. What are you doing back there? Why don't you take a seat? It was him, the boy she respected and loved. Naruto was calling her to take a seat. She blushed deeply and slowly walked over and sat down next to him. He took a good look at her. Her eyes were like Neji's. She wore an oversized beige jacket and had loose-fitting blue jeans that ended a little above her ankles. Her body had also begun to develop. Perhaps she wore those clothes to hide them. She was about to talk to him when Tsunade walked in. All right teams, listen up. We have information that the village of Sound has set up a complex within our territories. I want you 4 teams to find as much information as possible and destroy the place. You can do this any way you want. I know that you guys are all still genin, but you guys are the best of them, so don't screw up on this, okay? This is an A-rank mission, so don't get yourselves killed. However, your senseis will be unable to be with you on this. They're busy on their own missions, she said. Yosh. Finally, something that's not D-rank, Naruto yelled out. Hinata just looked at him, blushing and smiling at the boy she loved. End flashback. Kiba, they're ready to leave. Ino spoke into the walkie-talkie. All right, let's blow this joint, his loud voice rumbled through. Damn you Arrow Sennin. A resounding explosion was heard. As the 4 teams headed back to Konoha through the treetops, they turned back to see the complex up in flames. Shikamaru looked back at Naruto. So were you able to weed out any information? He asked. Yeah, the security was pitiful. You? Naruto inquired. He pulled out several scrolls and tossed them to Shikamaru, who caught it with his graceful hands. If only he would use those hands in a more romantic manner, thought a certain blonde kunoichi. We didn't get much from the guards patrolling, but we still got some. Naruto turned and faced the direction of the Konoha. Thanks to Shikamaru's great plan, which he seemed to have many of, none of them had been hurt. They continued on their way to Konoha. Tsunade will be pleased with the information we have, Shikamaru thought. Tsunade's office. Well done you 12. That was a difficult mission. I think you guys deserve a 2-week break. You can do whatever you guys want. Train, rest, have fun, etc. Sakura cut her off. But Tsunade-sama. We are shinobi of Konoha. This village needs us, everyone murmured in agreement. I don't care. I, Tsunade, the 5th Hokage of Konoha, order you 12 to take a break. You are dismissed. They all left the Hokage's office pretty angry. What the hell was she thinking allowing them to take a break when Konoha needed them most? And when did she treat herself as almighty? Stupid Obeken, said Naruto. Everyone nodded in agreement, though only to the stupid part. Though they all knew that Tsunade used genjutsu to make herself look younger, they all also knew better than to refer to her as Obeken. They all left to go to their homes, leaving Naruto with his teammates. Hey, since we're on this break thing, we may as well make the most out of it. He turned to Sakura. No, sorry Naruto, but I won't go out with you. Sakura didn't even let him finish. It's just that I have some personal affairs to deal with today. Don't take it the wrong way. She left towards her house, leaving the 2 guys. Man. I'm bored. So what are you going to do, Sasuke? Want to go catch a movie? Actually, I'm kind of busy today, also. I've also got some, personal affairs. Yeah, you've got to hate those personal affairs. Naruto could have sworn that Sasuke had just blushed. Damn it. All these years with Kakashi-sensei and I still can't come up with a good lie. Since when did you have personal affairs, Sasuke? Hey, are you blushing? And no, I'm not blushing, I'm just being my good old self. What makes you think I'm blushing? I think you are blushing. I am not blushing. Stop asking me questions. Sasuke then left in a hurry to his house. Naruto simply shrugged and shot a look at his watch. It was 12:45 p.m. May as well get some ramen. He began to walk down to the Ichiraku ramen shop. It was his favorite place to hang out in. Sure, they served his favorite food, but what nice is that it was almost like a bar, minus the alcohol and drunkards. People would go there and talk and rumors would fly around the room. It was a place to gather information. Plus, every so often, he would meet his friends there. Today must have been one of those every so often days. A man was sitting down who looked awfully familiar. He had his hair up in a pineapple fashion and had black clothing with a chunin vest. He had a scar going sideways across his face. He had a forehead protector on his forehead, because that's where they belong. It was the man who first acknowledged him. Hi, Iruka-sensei. Naruto called out to him. Iruka looked up from his bowl. Hey Naruto. You know that you don't have to call me sensei anymore. It makes me feel old, you know? Yeah well, you'll always be sensei to me. They sat and talked for 3 hours, catching up on old times, talking about their troubles, etc. When they stopped, Naruto had 10 bowls piled up. Iruka's sweat dropped as the shop manager gave him the bill. Though he enjoyed these times with Naruto, the bill always took a large chunk out of his wallet. And being a teacher didn't really help much with paying for it either. Iruka began to reach for it when it suddenly vanished before his very eyes. Confused, he saw Naruto taking out his frog-shaped wallet, filled to the brim with money, and paying for the both of them. Since when did you have so much money? He's getting fast. I didn't even see his hand reach for the bill, Iruka thought. I just finished an A-rank mission. Impressive. Well, I got to go file some papers at the academy. Yeah. Paperwork. See you later. Even I am a friend of Kakashi. I still can't come up with a half-decent lie. Iruka called out. He stood up and left in a hurry, though not in the direction of the academy. Naruto paid no heed and went off in his own direction. By paying no attention to his former sensei, he missed the part where Iruka got glomped by his girlfriend, Anko. I might as well go home for now. The movie doesn't start till later. He went back to his apartment. He was climbing the stairs when he ran into his rival, Sasuke. Hey, Naruto. Sasuke looked dead tired, panting. He continued. I ran over here looking for you. Well, why don't you come to my apartment? We can have a talk there. Naruto led him to his apartment. When they entered, Sasuke was amazed by the messiness of it. There were pieces of paper here and there, scrolls lying about and many empty ramen packs. I always thought that your apartment would be a mess, but how could it be this messy? Come on, you have to clean up this place every so often. Let's not talk about that. What did you want to tell me? Well, promise you won't make fun of me first. Naruto nodded, giving him his word. Well, how would you tell a girl that you're in love with her, but you want to take the relationship at a slow pace? A lot of girls would probably want to get into my pants on the first date, and I really don't want that. Sasuke was blushing. Huh. I knew you were blushing, but I'll keep my word, Naruto thought. He replied, simple. Just go out and tell her. If she truly loves you back, she will be willing to wait until you are ready. Sasuke smiled at the simplicity and wisdom of it. Thanks Dobi, I feel that you're the only friend I can trust with these kind of secrets. No problem Sasuke idiot. Sasuke left the room. Well, it's about 2 hours till the movie starts. I guess I'll take a nap. Naruto leapt onto the couch and fell asleep. Later, he woke up and left his apartment, leaving the door unlocked. He never locked it, since he would always forget where he put the key. Besides, it's not like anyone would find anything to steal in there. Unless you consider a mountain of ramen packs valuable, he didn't have any valuables except for the frog-shaped wallet that he had taken the liberty to call Gama-chan and the necklace Tsunade gave him. He carried those 2 objects with him all the time. Naruto began to walk to the movie theater. It was his break, so he might as well take a day or 2 off before he begins to train. When he got there, a lot of men and some women were dressed in black clothing, mostly trench coats, and had black sunglasses on were standing in line. He took a look at what was playing. He figured out that they were dressed like that to hide their identity. They had the movie, The Shinobi, but what really shocked him was the other movie. Icha Icha Paradise 2 inches Naruto silently swore. The movie had won 12 Academy Awards, breaking the world record, which was set by Icha Icha Paradise, the movie, which had 11. Damn you Ero Sennin. Damn you to the many depths of hell for writing that book. Naruto approached the ticket booth. One for the shinobi, please, Naruto said. Here you go, enjoy your movie. The people had begun to act nicer to Naruto. After seeing him beat Neji in the Chunin exams, people no longer feared or hated him. They began to treat him as a normal citizen. Some of them had even tried to offer him money and gifts because they were mean to him. Naruto, however, kindly refused. He took a seat right when the preview started. Luckily for him, there was only one. Sadly, it was for the movie, Icha Icha Paradise 3. Damn it Jiraiya. I'm going to kill you and send you to hell myself. The movie began to start. Within 5 minutes, Naruto's attention was elsewhere. It's not that the movie was bad. It was very interesting. But what was going on around him was simply so much better at stealing his attention. Oblivious to each other, there were 3 couples in the room. Shikamaru was with Ino in the back, holding and beeping her. Neji and Tenten were about 10 seats to his left. She was sitting on his lap and Neji was just beeping her neck and hugging Tenten at the waist. She began to blush a light crimson and began to beep Neji back. But what really shocked him was the third couple. 3 rows down sat Sasuke and Sakura. They were both beeping, paying no heed to the world, the movie, or the fangirls who were crying rivers in the back. Sakura-chan, Naruto winced. He knew what was coming next. I think I'm in love with you. But I want to take this relationship slowly. Is that okay with you? It's more than okay. I would wait forever for you, Sasuke-kun. They resumed to their beeping. But a gust of wind caused them to look up. 3 rows up from them and 10 to the right of Neji and Tenten was a seat that was slowly bobbing into the upright position. Letting go of your pains, Kuso, 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 Naruto mentally screamed. He was leaping from rooftop to rooftop towards the Team 7 training area, his silent tears slowly meandering their way down his cheeks. When he got there, Naruto immediately did what Rock Lee did best, beating the crap out of training stumps. After an hour of doing what Rock Lee did best, he sat down and took a look at the block of wood. It had dents here and there, but there were also imprints of blood. He took a look at his hands. They were bleeding, though it had stopped and already healed, thanks to the help of the Kyuubi within him. Feeling too tired to feel sad, he began to walk home. He passed by his current sensei, Kakashi. He was seen beeping Kurenai, Hinata's sensei. Had he been paying more attention to the fact that Kakashi was beeping Kurenai, he would have realized that his mouthpiece was off. But he saw something else. Man, everyone here has someone who they can love and others who love them back. I'm the only one who isn't loved by anyone. Sure, I have friends, but they only see me as a friend. I feel so alone. He continued to walk to his apartment. The next day the sun was shining through the thin curtains in our favorite shinobi's room. From the sun's position, it was about 9 in the morning. Rolling over, Naruto attempted to keep the sun away from his eyes. To his dismay, he fell off of the bed for a rather rude awakening. Kuso, it's the same thing every morning. The sun mocks me with its stupid little rays of light and I fall off of the bed. It's so damn painful and it's not the best way I would like to wake up. Except today, it just hurts so much more. He thought. Sure, it hurt to wake up every morning like this, but it hurt more when he remembered what he saw yesterday. I really need to talk to Sasuke about this. He proceeded to leave his room without completing his morning ritual of eating a breakfast of ramen. He slowly ambled to his team's training area. His teammates and he have come up with a ritual of meeting at the training spot every day unless they were unable to do so. There they would train, hang out, etc. Sometimes, Neji's team and the other rookie 9 would meet there too. When he got closer, he heard a few voices. Sasuke-kun, do you think something happened to Naruto? A girl said. Don't worry, Sakura-chan. I'm very sure that he can take care of himself, Sasuke answered. I know that, but it's not like him to arrive this late. If he keeps this up, he'll be later than Kakashi-sensei. A poof was heard. Actually, he is already later than me. Kakashi had actually arrived earlier than one of his students. What a miracle. At this point, Naruto had just appeared through the clearing. His head was toward the ground and his hands were in his pockets. He did not greet them in any manner. Nor did he realize that Kakashi had arrived at the training area before him. They immediately knew something was wrong. Naruto just kept walking until he was standing next to his team and sensei. After that, He just took a seat on the ground, still staring down. Sakura turned to Sasuke. He nodded and she knelt down next to him. Ohio, Naruto. Ohio, Sakura. The entire group immediately noticed how he failed to say Chan at the end of her name. Something definitely wasn't right. Sakura, however, thought that it wasn't the best time to address it yet. It's a nice day, isn't it, Naruto? What do you want, Sakura? She was taken back. Since when has Naruto been able to see through her words? He had gotten smarter over the years, but this was the first time he had seen through one of her plies to get him to talk about something. What's wrong, Naruto? You're not being loud and noisy. You have failed to greet us, which you have been doing every day for the last several years, and you arrived later than Kakashi-sensei. What's wrong? You can tell us. You can tell all of us, she said pleadingly. I don't want to talk about it, Naruto yelled. Just leave me alone. And with that, Naruto disappeared, just like an ambush squad would, leaving a small poof of smoke. Everyone was surprised. Even though the ambush squads would often disappear like that, only the most elite could. When had Naruto become this good? And what caused him to be so moody? I don't like the look of this, Sakura said. Neither do I. What should we do? Sasuke replied. I say we find Hinata and let her comfort him. It's obvious that he won't talk to any of us. Plus she does like him and all. Maybe he might just finally realize her. Sakura suggested. Kakashi, however, had other thoughts running through his head. Crap. Since when had Naruto been able to do that? And at such a young age too. His seal may be weakening, possibly due to his emotional state. This is not good. I better tell Hokage-sama about this. With that he disappeared, much like Naruto did earlier, leaving the concerned genin. Later that day Hinata was climbing the steps to Naruto's apartment, her cheeks a deep scarlet. Had it gotten any deeper, one would have thought that she had gotten sunburned. Oh. My. God. Were the only thoughts going on in her head. I am walking to Naruto-kun's apartment. I am going to go talk to Naruto-kun in his apartment. I will be alone, in Naruto-kun's apartment, talking to Naruto-kun. What am I going to do and how am I going to do this? Flashback. Hinata. Hinata. Hinata turned around to see Sakura and Sasuke running after her. We need to talk to you. Sakura began trying to catch her breath. It's about Naruto. Sasuke finished for her. Hinata's eyes snapped open and she began to stain her cheeks with crimson. She began her trademark motion, the twiddling of her index fingers. He seems to be upset about something. We tried to talk to him, but he wouldn't talk to us. Then he just ran off. He's probably at his apartment. You have to do something. He's probably angry at us, so we need you to intercede for us. Well, Hinata was at a loss of words. It was her perfect chance to tell Naruto that she loved him with all her heart. Please, we need your help. We don't want Naruto to kill himself. Okay. I'll do it. End flashback. He needs you, girl. Just go in and help him. Hinata was standing at the door. She knocked. She knocked again. She turned the doorknob, which, to her surprise, was unlocked. She entered and found the room very clean. She swore that she saw that some of the tiles twinkled in the sunlight, much like Guy's and Rock Lee's teeth. Naruto-kun? Are you there? Hinata got no answer. She heard some sobbing coming from the bedroom. She opened the door and found Naruto huddled sitting on his bed with tears rolling down his whiskered cheeks. He heard the door open and turned around and saw her. She blushed and hid behind the doorframe, letting a bit of her blushing face peek out. Hinata. What are you doing here, and how did you know where I live? He asked politely. Why does she always hide behind something when she sees me? Is she afraid of me? She probably is. Sakura and Sasuke asked me to come here, Naruto-kun. Plus your door was unlocked. Her voice was barely audible. Is something wrong? You were crying back there, weren't you? And why is your house so clean? It's cleaner than mine. She approached him and took a seat on his bed next to Naruto. Oh my god. I am alone in Naruto-kun's apartment talking to Naruto-kun on Naruto-kun's bed. What should I do? Should I hug him? Should I? It's just that. I was so angry that I had to let off steam. I would have gone out to train, but I didn't want to get confronted by Sasuke and Sakura. So I just cleaned my apartment multiple times. There was a long pause before he answered her other question. I've grown up without my parents. And everyone in town hated me. I grew up as an unloved, unwanted child. Hinata was shocked. She knew that the people disliked Naruto until after his first Chunin exam, but to grow up without the love of parents. To grow up without the love from anybody for the 15 years of his painful life. Of course, he didn't know that she loved him, but still, it was just too damn harsh to watch the boy that she secretly loved to go through this. I really loved Sakura. I really did. She never paid any attention to me, but I still loved her. And when I saw Sasuke, my best friend, beat her at the movie theater and take her love away from me, I just broke down. I'm happy for them that they have each other, but it just hurts so much. I couldn't take it anymore. I don't know what it feels like to be loved. I've only know hurt and rejection. Hinata was crying now. She was still unsure what to do, but she did what came to her mind first. She hugged him. Not a friendly hug, but a genuine hug. Her head was on his shoulder. He took a look at her face. She wasn't blushing this time. Naruto could not believe this. A girl, who he only knew on the level of a friend, was hugging him like a lover would. The tears began to work up again. It's okay, Naruto-kun. It's okay. Just pour out all of your sorrows onto me. Naruto just let the tears flow, being hugged by his secret admirer but still clueless. I'll tell them how I feel tomorrow. Arigato, Hinata. Why does it feel so good to be hugged by her? Could this be what it feels like to be loved? I'll have to thank her for this later. Yes. Back to work. Ohio, Sakura, Sasuke, Naruto called out. Ohio Naruto. They returned. It looks like Hinata got the job done. I wonder if she told him that she loved him. So what's with the sudden mood change? Yesterday, you were all moody, Sasuke asked. Well, since both of you are here and Kakashi-sensei has yet to arrive, I'll tell you. Naruto said. I saw you two the other day in the movie theater. He suddenly wasn't as cheery. I saw you two beep and I heard you. He looked at Sasuke. Use the words that I told you to say. It hurt a lot. It really did. But I guess I just needed a day to calm down or so. Either way, I'm happy for the both of you. He ended in a cheery note. Both Sasuke and Sakura felt a little guilty, but they were glad that Naruto was out of his moody phase. We're sorry that we've hurt you. No hard feelings? Sakura said. Of course not. You guys are my friends. I can't stay mad at you forever. Suddenly, there was a poof of smoke, meaning that Kakashi had arrived. Hello. Sorry I'm late. You see, there was an old man who wanted to play, Kakashi began, but was cut off by his students. Liar. The three genin yelled. It was worth a shot. Anyway, I just had a talk with the Gondame and even though you were supposed to be on break, an important mission came up. This better be a good one. Naruto said. It's a B-rank mission. She needs you to escort one of the Wave's feudal lords back to their home. The Wave country had changed. Ever since they had finished the Great Naruto Bridge, their economy had begun to grow drastically, and it still was. They have begun to raise shinobi of its own since countries now had an interest in it. Their government was much like Konoha's, which was very much like a democracy. She says that she'll pay you well, since she had to take you guys off of your break. However, you guys need to be careful, since other shinobis may be out there to kill him. Also, I will be unable to assist you, since this village needs every shinobi it has. You need to go to the Hokage's office now. I'll see you guys when you get back. With that, he took out his book, Icha Icha Paradise Volume 4, and disappeared. I am so going to kill you, Ero Sennin, Naruto thought. Tsunade's office. Gondame-sama, you have 3 visitors, her secretary called. Let them in. Tsunade said. Ohio, Tsunade Obaken, Naruto called out as the 3 genins entered the room. Sakura and Sasuke quickly stepped away from him. They both knew about the genjutsu Tsunade uses to make herself look no older than 25, but she was old enough to be their grandmother. Call me that again and I will impale you on a stick. She had a vein sticking out of her head. Sure you will, Obaken, sure you will. I will pretend I did not hear you say that. Anyway, I believe Kakashi has already told you your mission. They all nodded. Tsunade continued. You are to protect one of the Wave country's feudal lords. He has specifically requested you 3 and that he says he is a good friend of yours. A man walked in through the door. Hello you 3, it is nice to see you guys again. Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke recognized the voice. They turned around and smiled. Hello. Tazuna-san. Naruto called out. Just call me Tazuna. Let's get going, shall we? They left the building. They were approaching the gates when they saw a girl with short blue hair and pale eyes chasing after them. Naruto, go talk to her, Sasuke said. Why me? Just go, Dobi. Sasuke pushed him towards her. So Naruto stayed behind while the other three continued on their way. Hinata slowed down to a stop. Where are you going, Naruto-kun? I thought that you were on break. She squeaked. Naruto thought that her face was like a red, ripe tomato. Well, Tsunade Obaken said that Tazuna needed to get to the wave country as soon as possible, and he specifically requested us. She's going to pay us extra, Naruto said. But, she twiddled her index fingers and looked down. It's a B-rank mission. What if something happens to you? Don't worry, I'll be fine. He lifted her chin up to him with his finger, causing Hinata to stare into his blue eyes, his electrifying blue eyes. She blushed even more under its piercing gaze. Don't look so down, I'll be back before you know it. Oh yeah, thanks for helping me out the other day. In fact, I have a present for you. Naruto took off his most expensive possession, and no, it was not the headband. Here. He took off the necklace Tsunade gave him and put it around her neck, causing her to turn even redder. It's my promise to you that I'll be back. Naruto then left to catch up with the rest of his team. Then I'll be waiting for you right here, Naruto-kun. She looked at the necklace in the palm of her hand. I'll wait, no matter how long it takes for you to get back. Somewhere in the wave country, crossing this bridge brings back old memories. Sasuke said. The last time they had been on a bridge this big was when they fought Haku and Zabuza. The bridge they were on was over a cliff. Between the two cliffs was a river that was about 100 feet below. It looked very much like the Great Naruto Bridge. That was expected, since the Great Tazuna himself also crafted it. Yeah, like when you died, Naruto joked. Hey, that's not very funny. I really thought Sasuke-kun died. Sakura cried out. Is Zabuza's and Haku's grave still somewhere around in the wave country? Sasuke piped up. Yeah. It's still up on that hilltop which overlooks the Great Naruto Bridge. Even though they attacked me, they are still respected for turning against Gato in the end. Zabuza's head cleaver is still there at his grave. In fact, there is a myth that says Zabuza's soul protects the sword from bandits, keeping it embedded in the ground. It looks like our Team 7 is already famous, Sakura said. Suddenly, 5 senbon needles were seen flying out towards Tazuna, hitting him in the chest region. The assaulter stood in front of them. He had brown, wavy hair, which was kept down by his sound forehead protector. He wore a white sweater and white pants. He had white strings attached to the sleeve of his sweater and on the side of his pants, the strings being about 1 foot in length. Tazuna then disappeared in a puff of smoke, only to be replaced by a block of wood. Hey Tazuna, I didn't know you knew how to use ninjutsu, Sakura said. I was taught a few for my own safety, but I only know Kawarimi, Water Shield, and Water Bullet. The assailant opened his mouth. Uchiha Sasuke, you are coming with me to pay a little visit to Orochimaru-sama. Battle on the bridge. There is no way in hell that I would go to that sick excuse of a ninja, Sasuke said. It doesn't matter whether you want to or not. I'll just have to take you there unconscious then. The Sound Nin said. He immediately ran at Sasuke, who did not bother to activate his Sharingan. Naruto, Sakura-chan, protect Tazuna-san. I'll deal with this bastard, Sasuke said. But I don't want to watch this. I want to help. Naruto stopped her before she could say anything else. Sakura, as much as we both want to be in this fight, Sasuke has a personal vendetta against Orochimaru for putting the cursed seal on him. He wants to get revenge himself. So if you don't want him to be angry at you, I suggest that you do what he says. Plus, we have to protect Tazuna. Sakura obeyed, though it pained her to do so. The Sound Nin began to spin on the balls of his feet, allowing the strings attached to him to fly outwards. Sasuke watched carefully and was suddenly hit by a senbon needle on his right arm. He pulled it out and threw it back. The Sound Nin dodged it easily. What the hell? He didn't even throw it, he thought. Surprised. Sasuke? I thought so. Inside each of the strings are cases, which hold multiple senbon needles. Using my chakra, I can control which ones open and close. I can also control the direction of the needles sent out, the Sound Nin said. That's a flashy trick. Too bad you'll need more than that to stop me. Sasuke quickly did some hand seals. Fire element. Mystic Fire Flower no Jutsu. The Sound Nin just smirked and did a few hand seals of his own. Sound element. Sound Wave no Jutsu. A sound wave was then visibly seen flying through Sasuke's jutsu, taking out the flame and the shurikens that were hidden within it. Sasuke's Sharingan copied it, storing it for later use. The sound wave continued towards Sasuke, who jumped out of the way. He then went in to try and land some punches on his opponent. The sound nin threw a left hook followed by an uppercut with his other hand. Sasuke dodged them and countered with a quick punch to the gut. With the wind knocked out of him, the sound nin recoiled and spun around, letting loose a few Senbon needles at Sasuke. Sasuke grabbed a few and threw them back at him, piercing him at several points in the right shoulder. Smirking, the sound nin pulled out the bloody needles and let them drop to the ground. He gave out a smirk. You have definitely improved over the years, Sasuke. However, you need to become stronger. You've done much better than I thought you would. Well, I must return now, but before I go, I think I'll leave you a little present. He then disappeared in an ambiguous manner. Sasuke, not knowing what he meant, turned around and began to walk away until he heard a sizzling noise. He saw exploding notes wrapping the floor around him in a semicircle. The kanji on it was a little different though. They were about to explode. Shit. Suddenly, Sasuke found himself lying on the ground, about 20 feet away from the explosion. Sakura and Tazuna were running over to him. Sasuke-kun. Are you okay? Sakura cried out. That was a super explosion. What the hell was he thinking? Tazuna said. Wait. He? Sasuke looked around. Where was Naruto? Sakura-chan. Where's Naruto? He pushed you out of the explosion. Sakura said while looking about for the blonde-haired shinobi. Let's take a look over there. The three of them ran over to the crater to see Naruto dangling one-handed from a piece of metal. Dobi. What the hell do you think you were doing? Why did you push me out? Because you two just found each other. As for me, I have no one. No parents, no family, no one willing to love me. I still want to be Hokage and all, but what's the point if no one is there stand with me? I'll be living my dream, but I won't live it out happily. Naruto. There has always been someone who loved you. She was just too timid to admit it and you have been too stupid to realize it, Sakura screamed. Now pull yourself out for her. Naruto smiled. So someone really does love me. I wonder who. His thought then turned to a certain blue-haired shinobi, but he quickly pushed that thought out of his head, seeing as how he wasn't in much of a position to think about it. He tried to summon up some chakra to power up his arm, but he somehow ran out. He couldn't even tap into the Kyuubi's chakra, because it had also been drained. I can't, I'm out of chakra. How the hell is that possible? You didn't do crap, Tazuna yelled. Thinking back to the explosion, Sasuke had an idea. The exploding tags. They must have been made to beep out your chakra too. Give me your hand, Naruto. Sasuke yelled. Using his other arm, he reached up to grab his hand. But he was a bit short. Naruto let it drop down to his side again. I can't reach that far, Sasuke. Yes you can Dobi. Now try again. Naruto began to try to grab his hand. He was slowly closing the gap. 5 inches. 4, 3, 2, 1. Snap! The metal object that Naruto was holding on to broke, causing Naruto to plummet down the 100 feet into the fast-moving river. Naruto. Both genins cried out. He landed in the water with a loud splash. Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. Sasuke screamed. He stood up, backed away and tripped and fell onto his backside. He was now sitting up, staring at the bridge. He was tired that everyone he knew dying in front of him. First it was his clan. Now, it was his first true friend, Naruto. But the fact that Naruto died wasn't what pained him the most. Oh no, Naruto didn't die. Naruto was killed in his attempt to save Sasuke. Killed by him, the one of the 2 remaining holders of the Sharingan of the famous Uchiha clan. He thought back to all of the times when he put down Naruto, calling him dead last, and making fun of his dream. A searing pain in his head brought him out of his trance. The pain was unbearable. Sasuke was holding onto his head, as if he was going mad. It felt like a white-hot iron was going to slice his head in two. His eyes were clenched shut. The last time he felt pain like this was when Orochimaru gave him the cursed seal, which was still on his neck, though another seal was suppressing it. Sasuke-kun. Are you okay? Sasuke could feel his Sharingan eyes activating. He did not activate it himself, and slowly, the pain began to move down to his eye region. Suddenly, the pain was gone. He opened his eyes, Sharingan still activated, to see Sakura. She immediately gasped. What's wrong? Sasuke asked. Sakura, instead of answering the question, pulled out a mirror and let him take a good look at himself. He too gasped at the sight. Staring back at him through the mirror was himself with the Sharingan eyes, both with 3 swirls in each eye. He had mastered it, along with gaining the Mangekyo Sharingan, the ultimate genjutsu skill for the Uchiha clan. Mangekyo Sharingan. Sasuke thought. He had heard his father talk about this skill. He remembered hearing that in order to obtain the powerful genjutsu, you had to kill your best friend. It was back then when he made a vow to never gain the Mangekyo Sharingan, for the cost to him was too high. Thinking that far back made him remember his damn brother, Itachi. Damn you Uchiha clan. Damn you Itachi, damn you all to hell. The lifting of the seal. It was 5 a.m. in the morning. Hyuga Hinata was walking to her students' training grounds, or, to be more accurate, to some place in the relative direction of her students' training grounds. She was dressed in a white t-shirt, which complemented her curves. On the back of the shirt was a red swirl. She wore short black pants that ended about a little higher than her knees. Her forehead protector was still around her neck. Below it was her Junin vest. It had almost been 5 years since her Naruto-kun died on the bridge. After hearing his death, Hinata had cried like she never cried before. Naruto's death hit everyone really hard. Even the townspeople who had hated, cursed, and despised him came to his burial ceremony, although there was no body. But everyone knew that they were spared much grief compared to what Hinata went through. She missed meals, training, everything. His name had been etched into the monument where there was a list of shinobis who gave their life to the success of the mission. Whenever she missed something, everyone knew that she was at the monument, crying her heart out. But the death of Naruto had brought more than that though. Hinata changed. She was no longer the timid girl, but she was now outgoing and fearless. She would live on for her Naruto-kun, and only for him. She had sworn a vow of chastity, meaning that she will never marry and have beef with a man, or, more accurately, any man that was not the Uzumaki Naruto she knew. She felt that she belonged to him and that she would join him in the afterlife, still a virgin for him. Her determination to live on was able to fuel her to train. She quickly became better than the rest of the Rookie 9 in her cousin's team. During the next Chunin exam, she became a Chunin. 2 years later, she became a Junin at the age of 17 and began to specialize in medicine. What really amazed everyone was that she had reached the position of Junin before anyone else from the Rookie 9 and Neji's team. The entire Hyuga clan was amazed at her progress and wanted to reinstate her to the position of heiress of the clan. She kindly refused and gave it to Hanabi, her younger sister. Hinata stopped walking and turned to face the monument of which her Naruto-kun's name was written. She knelt down by the monument and read his name. Suddenly, she felt the presence of another person. She quickly activated her Byakugan and sighed. It was just Sasuke. Sasuke had changed over the past 5 years. He was now an Anbu squad leader, much like her cousin Neji and his ex-teammate Rock Lee. He was dressed in his Anbu outfit and had his mask off in his right hand. His mask was that of a wolf. She took a look at the hand and saw the ring on it. Sakura and Sasuke had been married for 2 years now. Sakura was still dressed the same, except that her dress was a little longer and she was a full-grown woman now. Her hair was also a bit longer, though in the same style. She was also a Junin who worked at the academy along with her best friend, Ino. Iruka still taught class, even though he was getting old. Speaking of Ino, she was also married to Shikamaru. Come to think of it, everyone was either seeing someone, married, or engaged, including Rock Lee and Shino. Neji and Tenten were still dating though. Neji was just afraid to pop the question. There was no big change between the people then and now. They were still the same, except for a few attitude changes. Come to see Naruto today, Hinata-san? Sasuke said. Hi, and please, call me Hinata. Though I honor your choice of staying chaste, I would think that Naruto would want you to be happy. I cannot marry anyone else, because he made a promise to come back to me. Hinata held out the necklace Naruto gave her that day. And I intend to be there for him and only him when he comes back to me. Hinata then realized something. Wait, aren't you supposed to be on a mission to help the hidden village of grass overthrow their government in favor for one like ours? I just got back. It turns out that when we got there, they had already overthrown it. Kawasaki Hattori had already led the rebels to victory. I also heard he's got a nickname. The Demon Shinobi. But if he ever comes here, it shouldn't be much of a threat. He's only leading rebels who want to change their government to one much like ours. But we should still be careful. Now all of the shinobi villages have gone through a revolution save Konoha, Wave, and Sound within a time period of 5 years. And each of them ended before the shinobi Konoha sent out arrived there. And each time, they all said that they were helped by a shinobi who went by the name of Kawasaki Hattori. What's going on with the world? Hinata thought. Suddenly, there was a sizzling sound and smoke began to rise from Sasuke's neck. He screamed, holding his neck. Hinata ran over to him and took a look at his neck. She was shocked. The cursed seal was slowly disappearing. After Sasuke had told them about Naruto's death, he also told them about the cursed seal he was given. After a while, Sasuke could no longer feel the pain. Hinata, what happened? Your cursed seal. It's gone. Woohoo! Sasuke jumped up with a smile on his face. I'm free, I tell you. Free. Ahahahaha. He just fell to the ground laughing in happiness. After a while he stopped and took a deep breath. A part of his mind had realized something. Wait, if my seal is gone, then does that mean that Orochimaru is dead? It could be anything, Sasuke. Anything. Well, I better go report about the mission and this to Tsunade-sama. See you later, Hinata. You might want to keep track of the time. If you're always late for things, then you might just turn out like Kakashi. Minus that damn perverted mind of his. Alright, Sasuke. Bye. 3 hours later. Damn it. Hinata-sensei is always late. One male genin called out. It's already 8 o'clock. I know, Satoru. What gives? The other male genin called. He turned to his female genin teammate. What do you think causes Hinata-sensei to be late, Rin? I don't know. Why don't you ask her yourself, Kyo? Suddenly, a poof of smoke was seen. Gomen Nasai. See, I was trying to help this little boy find his mother when Hinata was cut off. Liar. All three of them called out. Hinata just shrugged and continued. Worth a try. Anyway, we have another mission from Hokage-sama. There's some grass that needs weeding somewhere up north. Go talk to the Hokage for more information. Yes, she apparently inherited Kakashi's punctual lateness. What the hell, Hinata-sensei? We're ninjas now. We've got better things to do rather than go deal with some person's weed. Kyo yelled out. He realized later that the sentence was very true, as they later discovered that he was growing marijuana. But you guys are only genin right now, and it would be pointless to send you out on a mission you can't possibly handle. So get to work. The three genin grumpily left the training area, leaving Hinata to be able to go to the monument again. She slowly walked to the dark stoned monument. She was running the events of the day through her head. I wonder what caused the cursed seal to leave him. Could it really be that Orochimaru is dead? She came up with strange but plausible reasons as to why the cursed seal lifted itself off of Sasuke. Hell, no matter how strange of an idea she came up with, it seemed plausible, minus anything with Naruto in it. She just kept daydreaming about ideas, strange but plausible ideas. None of her strange and plausible ideas were even close to being true since none of them involved Naruto. 8 hours ago in the village of Sound, Orochimaru was seen hurtling toward a wall. He hit the wall with a loud thud, causing a spider web of cracks to go through the wall. Damn that kid. He's only 20 and he's beating the crap out of me. How did he get this powerful in just 20 years? Release your cursed seal on Uchiha Sasuke, and I'll let you live, for now. The attacker said. He wore black denim pants, black shoes, and a black leather jacket, zipping it up halfway. He had no undershirt, so his chest was partly revealed and a necklace with a small Kyuubi design hanging from it. On his right hand was a metallic-looking red glove that completely covered his hand and ended up to about his wrist. On the back of the glove on the largest plate was the Konoha emblem. He had silvery hair and wore black sunglasses that effectively hid his electric blue eyes. His skin had a dark tan, effectively hiding his whisker-like marks on his face. It was Naruto. The 5 years he had lived after falling off of the bridge drastically changed him. How'd I know that you'll keep your word? Orochimaru hissed. He was damn tired from getting himself bounced around like a basketball. There was no way for him to fight off his attacker. You are in no position to bargain, Snake. Naruto inwardly grinned. He was a genius, making up his own name and identity, Hattori Kawasaki. What was left was now to return to Konoha and take his place as Hokage. But that probably won't be very easy. I'll have to explain who I am and then I have to prove myself. At least I still have the leaf forehead protector, he thought. Alright, I'll do it. I'll take off my damn seal from Uchiha Sasuke. He quickly did some hand seals. Seal release no jutsu. Naruto could feel the chakra aura Orochimaru sent off. It was fairly weak. It should take about 5 hours to remove itself from your friend. Who is this guy and what is his relationship to Sasuke? I feel like I can't trust you, Snake. I think that I'll make the people that you gave your damn seal to a little happier. Immediately, there was a red flame instead of a blue one over his glove and he seemed to slide toward Orochimaru in a blink. He was on the other side within a second. He extinguished the flame and Orochimaru crumpled to the ground. He quickly decapitated Orochimaru's head, placed a preservation jutsu on it, and put it in a leather bag, which he later put into his backpack. Well, I may as well go back to Konoha and hand in his head. No doubt that they will be happy that the world is now ever so slightly safer, Naruto said. He then disappeared in a puff of smoke, thinking about a timid blue-haired shinobi for some reason, though he did not know why. Lunch break at the Ichiraku. Hinata was now at the shinobi monument. She knelt down and slowly tears began to form. She let them down unhindered. Hinata could feel the painful memory of the worst day in her life burning in the back of her mind. Flashback. Hinata quickly approached the Konoha gates. Naruto's team had just gotten back. She got to there and only saw 2 genin instead of the usual 3. None of them were smiling. Anyo saw, Sakura, where's Naruto-kun? Hinata asked. Sakura simply looked at her, then back at Sasuke. He nodded. Hinata, we need to talk to you. It's about Naruto, Sakura said. Why? Did something happen? He didn't do anything stupid, did he? Hinata inquired. Inside, Sasuke and Sakura felt that Hinata knew what had happened to Naruto. Perhaps she was just acting like it wasn't true. No, he did not do something stupid, at least not by your standards. Hinata decided that he would be at the hospital and started to go down towards it, until Sasuke finished his sentence, and he's not in the hospital either. Then what happened? He died. Sasuke activated his Sharingan, and I have these to prove it. You killed him? Hinata yelled out. It was rare that she talked out loud. No, I did not kill him. Not intentionally at least. He pushed me out of a ring of exploding notes and fell off of the bridge. I was too weak to save him. I killed him. Because of me being too damn weak. Sasuke contemplated. A deep frown grew onto his face. No. Naruto-kun. He can't. He promised me. Hinata fell to her knees and cried. Sasuke and Sakura knelt down to her. I'm sorry, Hinata-san, but sometimes, promises can't be kept. End flashback. She snuck a look at the necklace her Naruto-kun gave her exactly 5 years ago. She held onto it without plans of letting it go. Not for a long time. Well, Naruto-kun. At least you are respected now in Konoha. Hinata whispered. She continued to cry again. A man who was admiring his sunglasses picked up all this crying. These sunglasses are pretty cool. Not like Shino's or that closet pervert's. Nope, these sunglasses are one of a kind, made by me, Uzumaki Naruto. He was admiring his work of art. He had made the sunglasses to be able to see through genjutsus. So far, with this wonderful pair of sunglasses, he has been able to see through and counter each and every one of them, turning the genjutsu against the user. Now, all that was left was using it against the Mangekyo Sharingan, which he was saving for if he ever got into a fight with Itachi. However, it was cut short when his acute hearing heard the cry of a woman. He took a sniff, smelling tears and pinpointing the direction of the crying. I would never have been able to hear or smell her if the Kyuubi never tried to get out of me. When Naruto was 15, about a month after he fell off of the bridge, the Kyuubi sealed inside of him wanted out. It began to attack Naruto's mind and it would not have been long until Naruto would have been overtaken. His body and clothing was the first to change. Any clothing that he had ever worn in his life, with the exception of undergarments and shirts, had turned black. Shortly after the transformation, he never wore a shirt underneath his leather jacket. Any jacket he had worn turned into a black leather one, and his pants became black jeans. He no longer wore sandals, but black shoes. As for the necklace, he had no idea as to how it got there. It seemed to have materialized out of thin air. A red metallic-looking glove began to form over his right hand. His skin became a dark tan and it hid the whisker marks on his cheeks very well, but the seal on his stomach was still there, but that changed too. It was now the Japanese kanji for kitsune. You could only see the whisker marks if you looked at the face for a very long time. His muscles began to change to a very toned form, though not bulging. His hair and voice were the last to change. It turned from its regular blonde color and spiky style to a dazzling silver with a nice messy look, while his voice became deeper, that of a man. Naruto later found out that this was the human form that the Yondaime squared off against when the Kyuubi demon attacked. Luckily for him, it was just the body that did the changing. Naruto may have lost his body to the Kyuubi, but not his mind. He would never surrender control to the Kyuubi, and now, he was in total control of his new body, which was much better in many ways than his previous one, and he could tap into the Kyuubi's chakra at will. In the end, it was the Kyuubi's loss. He could summon foxes to help him and even transform into his true demon form if the need to do so arose. Now about the glove. It was a rather interesting piece of equipment. No matter how hard Naruto tugged, the glove never came off. It was like a piece of his skin, though it was metallic and kunais and swords can't even scratch it. But Naruto was still in the process of solving the mysteries behind it. It was gray before it turned red. What had happened was that, shortly after the Kyuubi fused with Naruto, he was trying to create a new jutsu when he accidentally lit his left hand on fire. Using the gloved hand, he, through reflexes, grabbed his burning hand. The glove quickly absorbed the flames, not leaving a single burn mark on his left hand or the glove. The glove wasn't even warm from the fire. Naruto decided that, though it had led to some interesting results, he would put off making jutsus for now. But a little more than a day later, his glove had turned red after a bright light engulfed it. During the transformation, which took about 10 seconds, his right hand felt as if it was stabbed by 1,000 kunais. The glove was able to use fire without the need of hand seals. All he needed was to focus a small amount of his chakra into the glove for it to be engulfed in flames. It was rather useful in a pinch. When he used his regular chakra, the flame burned blue. But when he used the Kyuubi's chakra, it burned red. It was a rather strange glove, but, other than 10 shurikens, 3 kunais, 3 exploding tags and a smoke bomb, it was the only piece of battle equipment he needed during the 5 years after taking a trip on a bridge in the wrong manner. Naruto began to move toward the position of the crying woman. He was in the forest, sleeping. When he left the forest, he saw Hinata, crying. Hinata? Is that her? Why is she crying? And why does it hurt to see her cry? Each sobbing cry was like a poison, slowly working its way to Naruto's heart. He quickly shoved the thoughts from out of his head and walked towards her. I better hide my real identity from her. Perhaps I can find out a few things that happened so far. Hey, what are you crying over? Naruto called out. Hinata turned around and saw Naruto, though she didn't know it was he. With a small yelp, she quickly found herself behind the shinobi monument, blushing like a tomato and tapping her index fingers. What's wrong with me? I haven't been like this for years, and I only did this in the presence of Naruto-kun. What's going on? Same old Hinata. Nothing. I'm just visiting an old friend of mine. Oh. And who might his old friend be? If I remember correctly, this stone is where the name of the shinobis who died for the success of their missions is engraved here. Was he your lover? Well, I was his lover. I don't think he really noticed me, and I was never able to tell him. She walked out from behind the stone. He was a good man. I really loved him with all my heart. I come here every day. Somehow, seeing Hinata like this caused Naruto much grief. Tomorrow will mark the 5th year of the day of his death. Naruto quickly wiped a tear that had managed to escape from underneath his sunglasses. Not only was he hurting because Hinata was crying, but also because it hurt him that the man failed to realize that she had really loved him. Such faithfulness, even to a man who is dead. May I mourn with you for your friend tomorrow? Sure. I see no harm in that. After all this there was a short pause. Then, remembering her manners, she spoke up again. Oh, I'm sorry. I've forgotten my manners. My name is Hyuga Hinata. Hello, Hinata-san. Hinata. Just call me Hinata. There was an awkward silence. So what's your name? My name is Kawasaki Hitori. I'm actually a travel nin, going places and all. He jerked his head toward his fairly large green backpack. Hinata, however, was in deep contemplation. Kawasaki Hitori. The Kawasaki Hitori. The demon shinobi. Why is he at Konoha? He may be a travel nin, but like Sasuke said, I'll try to play it safe. But I already gave him my name. I'll just have to be careful from here on out, she thought. It is nice to meet you, Hitori-san. Personally, I respond more often to Hitori. Naruto said. So, Hinata, want to go for lunch? It's almost noon. As if on cue, Hinata's stomach growled. Blushing a little, she gave him her verdict. Yeah, Lunch sounds perfectly fine. Later, I have no crazy idea as to how Sasuke was able to deal with fangirls for the many years of his life. But since they're out chasing me, that means that Sasuke must have gotten married to Sakura. So how do you know your way around this place so well? Hinata asked. Naruto had just managed to avoid his own fangirls. He would never understand why they chased males around. They had been following him for the last 30 minutes, asking for a beep, a peek under his sunglasses, bearing his children, and the list went on. He had just managed to lose them via a route that he knew from his genin years. Well, I have been here before, being a travel nin. So I vaguely remember this place. Now if I'm right, there should be a place around this corner that serves some nice ram. Naruto had just walked around the corner to see the Ichiraku twice as big as he remembered it. Even without their best customer, they were doing just fine. Hinata just blushed and became timid again, tapping her index fingers. This was Naruto-kun's favorite place to eat, she thought. She then saw Naruto's, or in her case, Hattori's, hand wave in front of her face. Hinata, are you there? Let's take a seat. She sat down next to him, giving a deep blush. Today, lunch is on me. He smiled. I haven't had ramen for the last 5 years. Though I now enjoy other foods, I think I'll take a trip down memory lane. He looked at the chef. It was the same old man. Naruto smiled. Anyo-sa, Oyaji. Give me a miso pork ramen, please. What do you want, Hinata? He turned to look at her through his sunglasses. I'll have a shrimp ramen. She stated quietly. Hey, since when did I start to talk quietly again? What's going on with me today? She did her best to ignore the thought and began to eat the ramen in front of her. I'll have a miso ramen now. The chef looked at the 20-year-old man. Without a second thought, he whipped up another course of that wonderfully delicious stringy stuff for the voracious young adult. Right under the chef's very eyes, the noodles seemed to vanish completely as if by genjutsu. Give me a. Now which one haven't I had for a while? He took a look at the menu. The old man simply sweat dropped and Hinata simply giggled at Hattori's antics. The last time he had a customer who ate this much was exactly 5 years ago, right down to the day. Lunch would continue like this until there were 10 bowls piled up next to Naruto, all of them empty. Hinata just had one. Naruto paid for lunch, which he had taken out from his own new fox wallet, which was filled to the brim with cash though it never really seemed to show it. Yes, even his wallet had change, thanks to the Kyuubi. Thank you for paying for lunch, Hattori. Hey, no problem. Want me to walk you back home? That would be nice. Hinata said. They left the Ichiraku, heading back to her apartment. They talked about many things, like the ninja revolutions, recent movies, and the common hatred of Jiraiya's perverted books. He would have led her to the Hyuga estate, but by playing it safe, he chose to follow her lead. This is it. Thanks, Hattori. She stopped outside of the apartment complex. No problem. I guess I'll meet you here tomorrow morning then. Now if you'll excuse me, I'll be familiarizing myself with this place and evading crazy fangirls. Hattori began to walk away from the apartment complex. Hinata was looking at his backside with a deep blush. Hattori left in the direction of the Hokage building, planning to get a look at how things have changed and to drop off a package that would bring joy to the many citizens of Konoha. He sure has a nice butt. Oh my gosh. What am I thinking? I'm not a hentai. Not a hentai. Hinata, instead of going inside of her apartment complex, ran to find Sasuke. With her Byakugan, that wasn't very hard. When she found him, she ran up to him and began to talk, her face still blushing and the thought of Hattori's wonderfully nice butt etched in her mind. Sasuke. Can't you know the guy you told me about his morning? You mean that Kawasaki Hattori? Yes, I remember. Why? Sasuke asked. Well, it appears that he has come to Konoha. Nani? He says he's a travel nin and that he's been here before. But there's something strange about him. When he saw me crying over Naruto-kun, he said that he felt saddened by the sight and asked me if he could mourn with us tomorrow. What did you say to him? I told him that he could. Could you please tell Neji ni-san, Tenten ni-chan, Lee-san, and the Rookie 9 about this when you find them? You guys are coming tomorrow, right? Hinata inquired. Alright, I'll do that. Of course we're coming tomorrow. Plus, this guy could be really dangerous. Hinata then left. So, Kawasaki Hattori, we meet at last. Perhaps we may be able to see who truly deserves the title of Demon Shinobi. Meanwhile, Naruto had taken a little walk to the Hokage's office. Girls were following him everywhere. I can't stand them anymore. I need a way to throw them off. He thought a bit and then simply gave up. He couldn't think of an idea without revealing his identity or harming them, which, though very tempting, was not his goal as of right now. And Genjutsu was out of the menu. Doing so could alert the shinobis on guard. I wonder how Hinata's doing. Huh, how did that get in there? Having reached the Hokage's office, there were a few guards here and there. Halt. State your purpose. Here. Naruto reached into his backpack and pulled out the bag with Orochimaru's head in it. He tossed it to the guard who caught and opened it. He almost dropped it from shock. This is Orochimaru's head. Who are you? And how were you able to defeat Orochimaru? Well, let's just say that I'm not your normal shinobi. With that and a foxy grin, Naruto disappeared in a puff of smoke. The guard quickly ran to talk to the Hokage. Catching up on old times. What? The voice screamed. Later, it would be known as the day when everybody in the hidden village of Konoha heard a roaring Tsunade. Or it could also have been the day that there was proof that the wretched Orochimaru died. The guard took out Orochimaru's severed head to prove it. It's true, Hokage-sama. Orochimaru is dead. I can't believe it. Slowly, a smile formed on her face. We must have a celebration. And lucky for us, she looked at a calendar hanging from her door. It had a picture of palm trees on it. The Junin exams are tomorrow. We can announce it then and celebrate after the exams. We haven't been able to hold one in the last 2 years because of Orochimaru running the Sound Village. It was a bit brave to have one right now, but we needed to boost morale. There was a knocking on the door. Hokage-sama, Uchiha Sasuke wants to see you. Send him in. I'm in a good mood today, though it is quite odd to see the same person twice on the same day. Sasuke walked in. If it's about your cursed seal, then it's confirmed. Orochimaru is dead. He walked in and saw the severed head lying on Tsunade's desk. He couldn't help but smile a little. However, it vanished when he remembered why he came. Hokage-sama, you know who Kawasaki Hattori is, right? The guy who lead all of those ninja revolutions in those villages, right? Yeah, you told me about him. She was fumbling around, looking for some keys to a safe she had. Aha, found you. She took out a key. Slowly, she lifted a tile off of the ground. There was a safe underneath. Today calls for a celebration. She inserted and turned the key, opening it to reveal a hidden stash of sake. Well, Hattori is in town. Tsunade suddenly stopped moving. What? She got up and turned to face Sasuke. Perhaps today would be known as the day where Tsunade's loud voice was heard twice in the hidden village of Konoha. He's in town. He's in town. Yes, Hokage-sama, he is in town. Sasuke rolled his eyes. They were wasting his valuable time asking stupid questions. Is there anything I should know? What he'll be doing tomorrow? Where he's staying at? There was worry in her eyes. She would not let this village crumble from a revolution. Well, Hattori will be joining us in the morning for Naruto, Hokage-sama. He asked Hyuga Hinata if he could come. Tsunade was now sitting in her chair. We will have to keep a close eye on him, though that may be difficult, as we have no idea where he is right now. He might even be using henge to hide himself. Is there anything else? Yes, I want you to tell everybody who will be coming with us to the monument tomorrow. That should include Jiraiya-sama, Iruka, Kakashi-sensei, the Rookie 9, and Neji's old genin team. Sasuke answered. What about Konohamaru and his friends? Tsunade inquired. They won't be back until evening tomorrow. They don't need to know. Besides, they're only Chunin and don't stand a chance against him if he is as powerful as fabled to be. There was a bit of silence. All right, you two are dismissed. Tsunade closed the safe. Sasuke and the guard left the Hokage office. She was no longer in the mood for drinking. Damn it, there just seems to be more crap piling up every day. What does it take to keep a village like this safe? I hope he's just visiting. Later that day. Wow, that Hattori is hot. I wonder if he's single. I wonder what his eyes look like underneath those sunglasses. He sure has a nice butt too. What am I thinking? Exclamation mark single quote. These were the thoughts that were running through the head of a certain blushing blue-haired shinobi, who had pale lavender eyes. Hyuga Hinata was slowly walking home towards her apartment after dismissing her genin students. Since she was no longer the heir to the Hyuga clan, she had been kicked out, much to the discontent of her father, Hyuga Hiyashi. It was heard that he threw a fit on the day they disowned her by a vote of 9-0. Hiyashi was a good man. After seeing how much Hinata had improved within the next 3 years after Naruto's death, he had realized how bad a father he had been to her. He managed to salvage the broken relationship with his eldest daughter while keeping the relationship with Hanabi going strong. In the end, he had been able to turn himself around and walk the good and narrow path. However, the clan council saw the refusal to take up the position of heiress as a sign of weakness, and, even though she was very strong, they disowned her. On the day before her release, Hiyashi had snuck into her room and left a note. On it said the directions to her new apartment and how he had managed to slip a hefty sum of money into her bank account, which he made for her. It also told her to leave as soon as possible and over the wall instead of the front gates, and suggesting to take only the clothes that would be on her back when she left, if she did not want the cursed seal to be put on her. Besides, the money that he put into her account would be more than enough to buy back 3 times as much than what she left behind. In fact, the interest on the money in the bank was more than enough to allow her to live without working, though she took up a job anyway. As she approached her apartment, her mind began to wander. I wonder if Hattori likes me back. Stop it, Hinata. You love Naruto-kun to death. Literally. She shook her head and stepped inside. After making a small dinner, she sat down on the couch and began to think about the day's events. Meeting Hattori. Running away from fangirls. With Hattori. Eating lunch. With Hattori. Talking about things. With Hattori. Just plain old thinking about Hattori's butt. Darn it. Hinata quickly grabbed her blushing head and shook it vigorously. She took a deep breath. Since when have I been unable to think about anything but Hattori or his butt? His beefy, firm, wonderful butt. Gah, quit being a hentai girl. You're not Kakashi. Hinata couldn't take it anymore. She concluded that she needed to take a shower and go to sleep to clear things up within her head. After doing so, she felt strangely tired. Perhaps it was the day's events, like staring at Hattori's butt. She was about to flop down on her queen-sized mattress when she saw 2 scrolls on it. Her father's name was spelled out in kanji on one of them. She quickly opened it up to read it. Hello, Hinata. Enclosed here is the Hyuga's greatest jutsu. It is the sole reason as to why many outsiders try to steal our secrets. Only we can use it. It is called the Revive Jutsu. No one in our clan has mastered it for over 300 years. However, in order to be able to use this jutsu, it is said that the user must have a pure heart. I believe that this is the sole reason as to why we haven't been able to master this jutsu. But if anyone can do this, it's you. The instructions are on the second scroll. If you can learn this, then there is no way that the Hyuga Council can keep you out of this family. Be warned, however. Even though it revives people who have died, it will only work if used within 5 minutes of their death. Even then, you need to have physical contact with their body. So don't bother trying to revive Naruto with it. Speaking of Naruto, say hello to him for me tomorrow. He was the son of a good friend of mine. When I think about it, I would have been glad to have him as my son-in-law. Neji says that he'll be there tomorrow too. Hyuga Hiyashi. She put away the letter and opened up the other scroll. It had the hand seals written on it and how to do the jutsu. Feeling tired, she decided that she would just glance over and vaguely remember the instructions. She would figure out the rest tomorrow. No, she would not figure it out tomorrow, for that day was reserved for her Naruto-kun. She would figure it out on the day after. Finally putting the scroll down, she lied in bed and put on the covers and fell into a troubled sleep. Hinata's dream. Wow, Hattori sure looks so hot. I really would like to see his butt again. Hinata thought. He looks even hotter in just his boxer shorts, now only if they weren't there. Yamate. You love Naruto-kun. But Hattori looks so beefy right now. AARRGGHH. Right in front of her stood Kawasaki Hattori, the new guy in town. In his boxer shorts, but still with his sunglasses on. Ah man. Not another nightmare. Hinata tried to turn away, but she could not. Her face was burning red. Hattori took a step closer. He was now 5 feet away from her. Hinata began to sweat bullets. I hope he doesn't come any closer. Crap. Much to her dismay, Hattori took a few steps closer. He was now right in front of her. He was now a little less than a foot away from her face. Hinata got a good look at him. From the looks of it, Hattori was about 5 feet and 10 inches tall. He was a head taller than her and a little taller than Sasuke. Slowly, He began to lean in. Hinata, against her own will, began to lean in and blush deeper. They were 6 inches away from touching lips. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. NNNNOOOOOOOOOO. I can't do this. End dream. NNNNOOOOOOOOO. Hinata sat up in her bed. Her bed was drenched in a cold sweat and she was panting. It was already morning. She buried her face in her cream-colored hands. It was another nightmare. Even though the many fangirls of Konoha would have loved, probably even killed, to have had this dream, it was a nightmare to Hinata. Hinata had been having strange dreams ever since her Naruto-kun died. Most of the good dreams were being beeped by Naruto, being married to Naruto, and having her first child with Naruto and naming them. Sometimes, the dreams she had were quite arousing and caused her to question her own innocence more than once. But there were also the nightmares. The nightmares usually involved seeing her life if she had married someone else. Sometimes it would have her getting married to Sasuke, Choji, and Hinata always shuddered at the thought of this, Jiraiya. These dreams would always end up with Hinata waking up with her bed drenched in sweat and her gasping for the life-giving air. But this was the first time Hinata had a nightmare with Hattori in it. She was freaked out and had run to the bathroom and splashed ice-cold water onto her face. She needed to get as far away as possible from Kawasaki Hattori. And that had to happen fast. No, forget fast, it had to happen now. Hinata quickly showered, dressed in morning clothes, and ate breakfast. When she put the dishes into the sink, she heard a knock at the door. Had she remembered what she had said yesterday, she would have gone out the window without a second thought. Sadly, life seemed to have granted her short-term memory loss for that minute. Ohio, Hinata. Ready to go. Hattori, who was really Naruto, was wearing the same black clothing he wore yesterday, in the same fashion. His jacket was half-zipped, and, since he no longer wore shirts, it left a bit of his well-toned chest for a blushing Hinata to stare at. I never knew I would say this to a girl. But Hinata, he pointed a finger toward his head, my face is up here. Oh. She reluctantly tore her eyes off of his chest and, blushingly, began to stare into his sunglasses. Shoot, I forgot that Hattori was picking me up. Yeah, I'm ready. But before we go to the monument, let's pick up the rest of my friends. They went and stopped by the houses of their friends, picking up each of them to travel to the monument. At each stop, Hinata introduced Hattori to her friends. But each of them already knew who he was since Tsunade had already told them. Wow. Things have really changed since the past 5 years. Hinata looks more beautiful than ever. The girls are married to the ones they love. Hinata's single. Kakashi is later than ever and is married to Kurenai. Hinata's hair looks really soft and smooth. Uruka's married to Anko. I really feel like beeping Hinata on her luscious lips. Tsunade seems to look younger if possible. Hinata has a very nice pair of brea. Wait a minute. Since when did I start to think of Hinata like this? Naruto quickly shook his head to rid himself of his rather interesting thoughts about Hinata. Damn you, Ero Sennin. Hinata, seeing Hattori shake his head, asked, is something wrong, Hattori? I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm thinking perfectly clean thoughts. I'm not a hentai. Hinata just blushed and gave a nervous giggle. Eventually, Hinata had picked up all of her friends. They consisted of Lee, Neji and Tenten, the Rookie 9, Kakashi, Uruka, Jiraiya, and Tsunade, each of them dressed in black. I'm seeing a lot of old faces today. Who is this guy we are mourning for anyway? I need to check up on Sasuke. I don't think I can do that yet though. I have to look inconspicuous. Hinata then led the group to the monument. Naruto, but Hattori to everyone else, stayed in the back. There was silence for a few minutes until Sasuke decided that he should be the first to speak. Well, Tobi, Naruto's head jerked up. He distinctly remembered Sasuke calling him and only him Tobi. It's been 5 years. Sakura continued. Naruto did some quick counting with his shiny internal calculator. Compliments to the Kyuubi fusing with him. In other words, he actually started to use his brain in a more educational, less life-threatening manner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It had been 5 years. Since you left us. Neji said. It had been 5 years since Naruto fell off of the bridge. Naruto-kun. Hinata finished and started to cry. Snap. What is the sound of one's shiny internal calculator breaking into many shiny pieces? Well, that was the sound of one's shiny internal calculator breaking into many shiny pieces. At least that was the sound for Naruto's shiny internal calculator breaking into many shiny pieces. Everything was beginning to make a lot of sense now. Why Hinata was sent to comfort him that day 5 years ago. She had literally opened her heart up to him that day, and yet he still had no idea. Why she was always so timid and nice to him. Why she always blushed and looked away from him when she looked back. Why she had given him the medicinal cream after his match with Kiba during the Chunin exams. How could I have been so stupid and blind? I left a girl here in Konoha and she's become a wreck. I think it's time to set a few things straight. But before he could, Naruto felt something else. Naruto was confused. He suddenly had a strange feeling towards Hinata. Was it love? Perhaps it was. Perhaps it was the reason as to why he was thinking so much about Hinata. Perhaps it was the kind of love for someone else that went deeper than just friendship. He was not sure on what to do, but decided that it would be a wise decision to trust his feelings. How could I have been so stupid to not realize this? And to think that all this time I was chasing after Sakura, there was someone waiting for me to acknowledge her. The irony in it all, it's all just so damn funny. Neji's head beeped up from looking at the monument. Behind him, coming from Kawasaki Hattori, the demon shinobi, was a small chuckle. To be continued, and thank you for watching the video.